Welcome to the second playonultra Extreme Super Ultra reviews. So today, Jonathan, aka Foehamner, is gonna review Armello.
Hey guys.
Before that, how are you, guy? How are you, John?
I'm just peachy. I'm loving Armello.
Nice. So yes, what is Armello about?
So Armello is a video game that is in the style of a board game. Basically the premise is there's 4 players and you're trying to either kill or become the next king of Armello. There are several ways to do that. So the game, when you first boot it up and click new game, you're presented with 8 different heroes to select from. The heroes all have a range of different stats and different playstyles associated with them. One thing I like is right now, because I'm still relatively new to the game. I've played it about 30 hours, so I'm not super new, but I don't feel like any of the heroes are locked into certain win styles. Like, I don't think the wolf character has to always kill the king. He can always do a couple other options. So you have these 8 characters to choose from, and as you play games with them, you can unlock starting items for them, which you can select to, if you think you're gonna want to win in a certain way ahead of time. Like, if you do want to win by killing the king, you can get the trinket that increases your fight skill by 1. Or if you want to get if you want to purge the king of his sickness, you can get the skill which helps you explore dungeons a little easier. So once you selected your hero, you selected your rings and your pendants, you're dropped into the game, and the board is randomly generated, which is pretty nice, because, it's not the same board. It's a hex tile based thing, with different terrain features. Like, mountains cost more to move on to from your movement point pool, but give you plus to defense. So you're in the game, you draw your starting hand of cards, and there's 3 different kinds of cards. You have equipment cards, which generally are equipment, but can be consumable items like health potions or throwing axes. You have your magic spells, which can do a wide range of things, like damage a few tiles away, lay a trap such that, like, if somebody steps on this tile, they'll get hit by lightning, or even something like teleport yourself or increase your own stats. And then the third one is trickery, which is a bit of all of the above. There's never any equipment in trickery, but there are things which can steal from your opponents or create little tiny traps to, just kind of hinder them. Trickery was my favorite going into it. When I first started playing Armello, I was trickery all the way, but I have since kind of shifted more into the magic pool, just because magic lets you do so much of everything, and it's a little harder to disrupt, because there are city tiles, and those give you gold, and gold is used to buy the equipment and trickery cards, but magic uses your mana, which just gets replenished every night. This is a day-night cycle. Every other turn is day, and every other turn is night, and at night you get mana equal to your spirit skill. So nothing can
Sounds like a lot of stuff to take note when you're playing a game.
Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve. The game has an intro though, which is very nice. There's
okay, like a tutorial style.
Yeah,
kind of
and
thing?
it's a
Nice.
prologue tutorial, so it sets up the story and introduces.
So there's a story.
Yeah, there's a story for each of the characters. So there's 4 parts to the prologue, and each part's tied to a different character, and it's kind of explaining why they're in the land of Armello and why they care about the king and that kind of thing.
So the 4 characters is sort of like the mascot of Armello.
Yeah, there's the main 4 characters, and they've since.
I'm guessing it's the 4 characters on the main banners.
Yes, the rat Mercurio, the bear Santa, the wolf is Thane, and the rabbit is Amber. And they've since rolled out 4 new champions who are of the same races, because they're different. There's the rat clan, the bear clan, the wolf clan, and the rabbit clan. So they've rolled out 4 new guys, and the Kickstarter backers also have access to 4 additional characters who are all from the bandit clan. And those will be eventually accessible by players who purchase the game right now, but at this moment they're only Kickstarter backer players.
So who's the developer, and how much is it? Where can you get it?
The developer is League of Geeks, which is an Australian-based team, and you can buy the game on Steam for $20 right now. Okay. And $10 for the music, which is good, but I don't know, I'd spend $10 for it.
Was the price increased recently or something?
I have not been paying attention to the price, because I actually was a Kickstarter backer, so I got it at whatever I backed it at. And didn't really pay attention to the Steam price
Okay.
at all. You can get a 4-pack for $60, so you can save. You can buy 3 and get 1 free if you want to, because it is 4-person game if you want to play with 3 other buddies.
Yeah. So, you play a lot of board games, like in real life kind of board games, right?
I haven't recently, but I used to. I used to play board games several times a week, and I still own quite a massive collection of board games.
Is Armello only for those kind of players, do you think?
Possibly.
Or can a casual board game player, or somebody who haven't played any board games before,
I think
do you think Armello is a good entry?
Yes, I would definitely say yes. I'd actually honestly say it might not. No, I was going to consider saying it might not be for the hardcore board gamer, because I've read, and I somewhat agree with some of other players who think that the person who actually wins the game is luck plays a bit of a heavy hand based on what cards you draw and what dice you roll, because dice are a big part of the game and how you resolve player-on-player conflicts. Like, if you walk into a trap or try and fight another player, dice are a big component of that. So luck does play its section of the game. I wouldn't say luck is more present in Armello than any other board game, but I think why this would be good for people who typically don't play board games is because it's a computer game. The computer can really just handle a lot of the hassle and things that slowly, incrementally slow typical board games down. Because
you don't need friends. That's one thing, I guess.
Yes. So I'm giving this review. I've spent, according to Steam, 38.8 hours on the game, but I have not played online yet. I need to give like a true experience. I probably should play online. But I'm just liking it so much playing the game on NPCs when I don't, and it's fast with NPCs because, I don't have to wait for them to decide what to do. Like with regular people, I gotta wait for them. It's just gonna take longer. With NPCs, it's way faster, but, they're also not as challenging. So there is that. But
so how's the, art style and the audio quality? Like the music?
Yeah,
because I'm really liking the art style.
Yeah, the art style, I don't know how I describe it. I know, who was it? Polygon described it as Ghibli-esque, like Studio Ghibli kind of art, which I can kind of see a little bit of, but,
Not me, I can't really see that.
I think they're talking about more of like the
fantasy,
the setting, unless the style, I don't know what I'd say the style is. It's slightly smoother than Polygon's, animal Game of Thrones kind of a game.
Is it a low poly kind of style, would you say?
It's lower than most other AAA games you see. Like, I mean, I get it's definitely not AAA quality, but it's definitely not low res either.
Yeah,
and it's definitely gotten better because I've been playing since the Kickstarter betas were available to us, and it's definitely come a fairly long way in terms of its smoothness. Like the only thing I think is a little rough is actually the Kickstarter bandit characters, because those kind of came out more recently. The other characters look a lot smoother, and the board game, the tiles itself look amazing. They're almost like Civilizations, kind of where I just want to zoom in and look at the little birds flying amongst the trees and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think...
What about the music? Or
I mean, it's good. I don't really take super note of it. The rest of the sounds are very cool, because it's frequently... When I'm playing this game, I'm multitasking, so during NPC's turns, I can be doing another window, so I can listen to what's going on all the time, like, oh, there's an evil Bane attacking me, I better go back over and roll my dice to fight it. And I can, if I close my eyes, I could tell who won the fight based off of the sound effects of, like, his sword being blocked by my shield and my slashes kind of going, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very... The UI is very good with this game.
So is combat mainly just dice rolling?
I mean, so strictly speaking, combat occurs when a character tries to move into another character's tile, and when that happens, they both roll dice equal to their fight score, and so you have a 6-sided die. The 6 symbols are sword, shield, rot, sun, moon, and I can't remember the name for the last one. It's like a wild tree kind of thing. So, so the sword always goes in your sword. You have 2 columns: your hits and your blocks. Your swords always go in the swords. Your shields always go in the blocks. If it's daytime, the sun counts as hits, Otherwise, it counts as misses in nighttime. And at nighttime, the moons count as hits. Otherwise, they count as misses. The corruption, the rot always counts as a miss for you unless you have become so corrupt that you're now a creature of corruption, in which case the corruption and the wild trees flip, and the wild trees count as a hit and give you an extra die. So that's kind of where the really annoying lucky thing can occur, is if you're fighting somebody and you roll like really good, and then they just have like a wild tree that rolls into a wild tree that rolls into a wild tree, and they just stack up like all these successes out of like just, pure 1 in 6 chances just occurring a lot of the time. And that's frustrating. And then on top of this dice rolls, you have your equipment, which affects it. So there's a lot of dice. There's a lot of, you can have 3 equipment at a time, and they'll do things like you just automatically get 1 free sword, or you lose 1 die, but you get 2 shields, or something like that. And you can have, so you have 3 equipment, and you can have 3 followers. And the followers generally don't help out in combat, but occasionally they do. And they're also a lot harder to come by. You can usually only get followers from quest rewards, or from exploring dungeons. And a dungeon is just a tile, so you move on to the dungeon, and something random will happen. You'll either get like gold, you'll get maybe a treasure, which is a follower or loot, you'll get extra mana, or maybe even an evil bane will appear and attack you. And then quests are also kind of, you can choose between 3 quests, and they'll drop a random hex, and that's where you have to go, and you go there, and you can choose to either just complete the quest, which will give you a small reward, or you can attempt a slightly harder version of the quest, which will test one of your attributes, like your strength or your HP, and if you succeed, you get an additional reward, but if you fail, you get punished, either with like -2 HP, or maybe you lose the reward that you just gained from completing the quest.
So, like, in our last review,
Yes.
I was talking about Party Hard, how it's very luck and random, and how I as a player felt like I wasn't in control.
Yes.
So, and in board games and card games, there are sometimes maybe too much luck involved, right?
Some people would say that, yes.
Yeah. So, how much control as a player do you have in Armello, actually?
So, I would say, generally, if I want to do something in the world of Armello, the thing that stops me from doing it isn't me having bad luck, it's just other players actively trying to stop me. Like in a first-person shooter, like if I want to walk from point A to point B, the thing that's stopping me isn't like whether or not I trip, it's the other person shooting their bullets at me. So
yeah, okay.
I mean, there's a little bit of luck whether or not those bullets hit you, but for the most part, it's just the flow of the game. People try to do things, and the other players try to stop them doing things, and vice versa. So I definitely don't feel negatively inclined. I don't think it's just like whoever wins this game, it's just the roll of a single die. It's a lot of factors, and I think it's what makes the game highly replayable to me.
So, do you want to add anything else? Anything else you missed out about Armello?
I'm looking forward to their development. I'm not sure what's on the plan for them. I know the Bandit heroes are going to be released to everybody. I'd like to see eventually more heroes. I mean, I'm definitely not jonesing for more heroes right now because I'm still playing the games with the current heroes and still figuring out which ones I like and in which ways. And I don't know what else I expect to see from them. There are things they could tweak in the terms of what kinds of quests there are and what kind of so one thing I didn't mention is every 2 turns, so every day cycle, the king gets an extra point of rot and he loses an HP. So like passively, the game's gonna end when the king dies, assuming nobody kills him first. And at that point, the player with the most prestige wins the game. And you can get prestige through a wide number of ways, but every day cycle, the current character with the highest prestige value is consulted by the king, and the king says, I want to make one of these 2 decrees, and that will affect the game for a while. Tell me which one to do. And so you can do things that, help you or screw other players. Like, there's one that gives every player a rot, which is annoying because it means you take a damage every sunrise. But if you are the player who's going for the rot victory, then it's really good for you because you're trying to get as much rot as possible. So I'd love to see more decrees. I'd love to see maybe something done with the dungeon, because you can, outside of the game at the main menu, you can look at all of the possible cards as you've seen them. So like I've seen all the magic cards, I've seen all the treasure cards, or not all the treasure cards, all the equipment cards and all the trickery cards, and I can look at those decks to see what's in them. I haven't seen all of like the companion cards, and so because the dungeons are very luck based, like you have to get those treasure cards, you have to have the treasure come up as the reward, and then have it be something you haven't seen. So, on the one hand, I like that I can have played the game for so long and not seen all of it. On the other hand, I don't like that I want to do something and I can't like actively make it happen necessarily. My next step's definitely going to be to play online, and that'll definitely make me a better player because I'll see what strategies other people are using. Because the NPCs are not super smart right now. It's very forgiving. I can definitely experiment around with a lot of different play styles. Is there a difficulty? No. No. Okay. There's just NPC or no NPC. And it makes it's actually really funny because Santa the bear, she's actually like the dumbest NPC because
so is the bear.
Because she's a very magically inclined character, and it's hard to tell an NPC like when it's a good time to use a spell and when it's a bad time. So most of the NPCs are the better NPCs are the fighting based ones, because it's really easy to make an NPC just run up to people and fight them. Yeah. But when you play online, I was talking to the devs, they said Santa has actually a somewhat higher win percentage, the highest win percentage of all the champions.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I can see it. She's really powerful. I started playing as her recently a little bit to get my bear clan up a little bit higher. But yeah, I don't have a favorite right now. They're all so different. They're all so good. I definitely have some that I wish were better and some that I think are bad. But in terms of favorites, I cannot pick right now.
So, would you recommend Armello?
Absolutely. I'd recommend it to everybody who likes turn-based strategy games. If you like fast-paced action, this might be a little slow to you, but very enjoyable, and you can play it with friends, which is always a good thing.
Nice. So yeah, that's it for our playonultra, super, ultra, extreme review of Armello. Alright, see you guys later in the next video.
Bye.
Bye-bye.